The following podcast is brought to you by Pro Wrestling Connect, Australia's newest choice for event management and brand development specializing in pro wrestling.
And now the B Plus Wrestling Podcast. Watch global, support local. It's the B Plus Wrestling Podcast.
The moves.
B plus.
Check it out! Here we go! You wanna mess with us?
Hello amigos, welcome to the Big Plus Podcast. I'm your host BigBoy. It's Wednesday and I hope you all know what that means by now. It's time for another episode of the King of Sportscast, the podcast that dives into the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling and the extended family that is Ring of Honor, CMLL and Rev Pro. So sit back for the next 30 minutes or so and enjoy my solo acts as Greg has taken a personal day to recharge the mental batteries, as you will. We're going to dive right in. This past weekend, New Japan, half their roster, well actually about 6 members of their roster went to the UK. The other half of the roster was down here in Australia. On Saturday they were in Melbourne at Festival Hall. On Sunday they were in the University of New South Wales Roundhouse for the two different shows. For the Super Showdown, I think it is, got that wrong, the show. Look, overall, Southern Showdown. Super Showdown is the horrible WWE ones. But, the Southern Showdown, they went off with a bang here in Australia. But the biggest piece of news is coming out of these shows. I'm not going to run down all the results. I'll dive through. The biggest piece of news coming out of this is Robbie Eagles is officially no longer a part of the Bullet Club. He is now actually a part of Chaos. So this has been building for a couple of weeks, I suppose, with all the tensions between him and El Phantasmo. If you know Robbie the way that I do, watching him in PWA, he's not one to need shortcuts. He doesn't want to need backup. He's a sniper of those guys. He goes at it alone. He's one of those guys that shows respect in the ring. He has a aggressive side to him. You can see that in promotions like Newcastle Pro Wrestling in the past, or something like that. He does have that attitude in him. However, he's more of a respect guy. And yes, Chaos in 2019 are a stable, built out of respect. Chaos for the last 10 years or so since the Shinsuke Nakamura days. Of course they were a little bit dirty, but they've sort of turned a clear leaf, and finally Robbie had enough, snapped out after losing on Sunday night in Sydney in a 6-man involving Will Carter, Tanahashi, as Robbie tagged with Jay White and Fale. Robbie just had enough of all the bullshit. Kicked Jay White's head right off his freaking head. It looks like he's joined Chaos. It's very interesting. I think Chaos is a great fit for Robbie. Chaos is now a very, very deep 10-man. It's a 10-man roster, I believe, for Chaos at the moment. The deepest stable in New Japan, I believe. I think Bullet Club is at about 8 or 9 right now, but yeah, look, I believe it's the right spot for Robbie. That junior squad of Will, Robbie, Rocky, Sho, and Yo, that's a fantastic junior squad. Then you got Okada, Ishii, Yano, Goto, and I'm missing one from the main card. I just can't think off the top of my head right now. Anyway, Chaos is a really deep stable. I think we also see him start in Japan. It's like that's going to be fun. We'll touch on some of the part of this was again in everyone knew that this was going to match. Like Will and Robbie are the greatest world in my opinion. And all accounts, I'm yet to see the match. As soon as it's up on New Japan World, I'll be watching it. Match was 34 minutes because they just told how. It's disappointing that Robbie didn't get to that IGP Junior match yet, but this is his first shot. The first shot that any Australian has ever had at the IWGP Junior title. He had the entire country behind him. Foes, allies, fans, everyone was behind him. It was an interesting build-up because whilst Robbie had Will on his mind, Will had Twitter, Seth Rollins on his mind, but they still put off an amazing match, 30 odd minutes, and tore the house down in Melbourne. And then the night after in the 6-man match, it looked like it was a really fun match. Some other cool, results from over the weekend. Tama and Tanga defended their IWGP tag titles against Mikey and Juice. They retained after Tama scored a win over Mikey with a school. So no title changes. Phantasmo gave Rocky Romero a British Cruiserweight title match. Well, I guess New Japan booked that. However, Phantasmo retained his title there with beating him with CR2. Yeah, some great results from the undercards. A lot of Farley Dojo guys got some time here to debut, including the debut of Nick Berry. I'm not really invested in the Melbourne pro wrestling scene. I've heard a lot of Nick Berry. I've never actually got to see him. I have seen his tag team partner, Mitch Waterman, at Wrestle Rock last year on Super Showdown weekend, the real Super Showdown. So it's good to see Nick Berry get his spot there. And in Sydney, I know Jack Bonza got a victory over Moretti, which is cool. Weekend for New Japan in Australia. I don't know what the success rate is in terms of, tickets, house, and all that sort of stuff. If it was successful in that way, but from what I've seen about the results, from all the action, fallout, it was a very important weekend here. A lot of stuff went down, which is super cool. New Japan seem like they really are taking an interest in the Australian scene, so I really hope companies like PWA, MCW really start having these relationships that we talk about Ring of Honor, CMLL, Rev Pro. Hopefully PWA and MCW and those kind of promotions become the Australian version of Ring of Honor or something for New Japan in their relationship. So that's cool. But we're going to take it back over to the US. Over the weekend, there was another, stable movement, if you will. Everyone had their best in the world shows. It's one of the major pay-per-views of the year. It's always been one of the most famous cards, dating back many years back to the Punk and Bryan days and stuff. One of the biggest things that came out of this show, much like the Robbie and Will stuff in Melbourne and Sydney, Flip Gordon, always been quite a popular face guy, always getting the pops and the cheers from the crowd, all this stuff with, All In and all that sort of stuff and being the elite. He's got a real big fan base. That's a baby face. But he's actually turned heel. The opposite of Robbie. He's actually now the heel. He has joined Villain Enterprises alongside Brody King, Marty Skull, and PCO. So it looks like this came out. Villain Enterprises have been trying to find that fourth member for Villain Enterprises over the last couple of weeks. Here in Sydney, Mick Moretti attempted to get a part of that Villain Enterprises team, without much success, unfortunately. However, the Villain Enterprises put their World Six-Man titles up against a team of Mark Haskins, PJ Black, and Tracy Williams. It looks like PJ Black has joined Lifeblood, and he'll be the major name for that stable since the Juice and Finlay have left Ring of Honor. But it looked like after the match, like a little bit of a beatdown. It looked like Flip was actually coming out to save Haskins, Black, and Tracy. However, Flip turned. Flip put the shirt on, actually. He put a Lifeblood shirt on. Lights went off. There was a video package of Marty Skull up on the screen, who had just kind of left the arena just then. And actually in the ring, in that video package, he panned, he's like, we got our fourth member. It was under our noses the whole time. How did we not realize this? Panned onto a shot of Flip Gordon backstage, which, magic of TV. And then you flip back to, the lights turn on and you see Flip Gordon ready to start kicking the heads off Haskins, Black, and Tracy. So now Flip is officially a member of the Villain Enterprises. Very interesting move for Flip. I believe he can be a fantastic heel. like a vicious style heel, like a villain. He's going under the name of the Mercenary. Flip Gordon the Mercenary. So no more babyface flipping Ring of Honor. It's going to be the Mercenary, which is going to be very interesting going forward. Some other big results coming out of Best in the World this weekend. Roosh defeated Flip Gordon, so Flip Gordon, didn't actually get on the card because that was actually a dark match. Sorry, I should have said that. Dalton Castle picked up a win over Dragon Lee. Kenny King defeated Jay Lethal in the best of 3 series. So he's won that series 2-1, which is really cool. A pure rules match. I'm really hoping this leads to Ring of Honor bringing their pure title back. Jonathan Gresham defeated Silas Young. In a tag team match, Eli Drake debuted here for Ring of Honor. Well, not for Ring of Honor. He actually announced that he's signing with NWA. He tagged with Nick Aldis here. They took on the Briscoe brothers as a double countout. A whole bunch of shenanigans. It's an interesting move for Eli Drake. He could have been top talent in AEW. Could have gone over to somewhere like Japan or over to the UK scene or something. But yeah, he's joining the NWA, which is cool for NWA to get a good name like that into their ranks, as NWA keep building their rosters as well. A lot of people are forgetting about NWA and what they need to build and what they need to do. So, Eli Drake is a great name for them, and hopefully he brings some respect to the NWA brand. Shane Taylor put his World TV title up against Bandito. Shane Taylor managed to retain. I can't believe there's a card where Bandito and Dragon Lee both lose. But anyway, and like I said, Villain Enterprises, they retained their 6-man titles against Haskins, PJ Black, and Tracy Williams. And then the main event, this is the part that shits me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for some negativity here. I'm not one to be a negative person on podcasts. Sometimes it pisses me off if I have to be. But this is shit. I didn't expect Cobb to just walk out with the title. But when you build up a guy undefeated for nearly a year, whatever it is, and he loses to Matt fucking Taven in 10 minutes, it really shits me. Like, Matt Taven's he's fine. He made a bit of a believer out of me after G1 Supercard and after that 3-way ladder match with Marty and Jay Lethal. He made a believer out of me. I thought, and I do believe he's actually good. I've got no problem with him. It's the fact that he's not, like, there's probably about 10 guys on the Ring of Honor roster that's better than Taven. But it's the fact that you made Jeff Cobb lose. Like, they booked Jeff Cobb to lose in 10 minutes to Matt Taven after building him up for a year. Like, really? Like, it's just, it baffles me. Jeff Cobb's one of the best talents in the fucking world. Like, I've really become a Jeff Cobb mark as of late. Getting some live a couple of weeks ago. Got to actually meet the guy post-show, and he is actually, you can see how passionate he is about pro wrestling. And he's a phenomenal talent. There's not many guys in the world like Jeff Cobb out there. Jack Bonza, actually, of PWA and now New Japan fame, said it best. Jeff Cobb is a mix between Mark Henry and Kurt Angle. And when you kind of got that physique and you move like a bloody cruiserweight, he's just a phenomenal talent. I would have put the strap on him in a better match. But anyway, it is what it is. Jeff Cobb now taking his first pin in Ring of Honor. So, so that's the world and the flip news. So, you got the Nair stuff there. Interesting with Ring of Honor. I know they did their TV taping, so over the next couple of weeks, a lot of those stories will play out.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
This month we are sponsored by Grapple, a fantastic new wrestling app available on iOS and Google Play completely for free, where you can rate all the matches that you watch in WWE, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, all across the world, and we are even getting Australian wrestling involved in the Grapple app rating system as well, starting with PWA Pro Wrestling Australia. Their Green Label event from the other week is up there. The Black Label event, All Eyes on Troy, is up there. And the last 2 years of events, at least, are up on Grapple right now for you to rate so that people can get around our Aussie wrestling and see that we are just as good as anywhere else in the world. Basically, Grapple is a Rotten Tomatoes for wrestling. Now we all get a say. It is the democratization of match rating systems for pro wrestling. It's amazing. So I get a say, you get a say. You can follow me on there at Greg Unchained. You can follow BigBoy Mikey at B+_BigBoy, at Mr. Mysterious is on there, at Danders is on there, at Jay is on there. We're all on there rating the matches that we watch. So follow us, we'll follow you back. Let's build this community and get as many Australian wrestling fans onto the Grapple app as we can. You can download it right now. It has over 30,000 matches on there going back to 1985, 15 promotions around the world. There's so much to do on the Grapple app. It's a great little community, so get around it. It's Grapple, GRAPPL.co, and it's for free on App Store and Google Play. Get around it. Hey everyone, just want to take a second to tell you about one of our new sponsors, OUTBREAK NUTRITION. OUTBREAK NUTRITION are creating supplements for survival, sharper minds, quicker reflexes, all the energy you need to take your performance to the next level, whether that be on the field, in the gym, on the gaming field. That's right, they have specifically designed gaming supplements as well to help you focus on those late night sessions. They even sell coffee, you guys, at OUTBREAK NUTRITION. You can get coffee pods, you can get coffee beans, you can get supplements for the bedroom as well if you want to enhance your performance there. These are performance enhancing supplements for every aspect of your life, specifically designed by gamers, for gamers, to stay fit and healthy in the gym, to stay sharp and focused on the game, and to dominate in all areas of life. So check out OUTBREAKNutrition.com, and for being a listener of our podcast, they will give you 10% off your order when you enter the code B+. That is BPLUS at checkout. So make sure, if you want to stay on top of your game, if you want to take your performance to the next level, OUTBREAKNutrition.com, enter the code B+ at checkout. Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B+ podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Graps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today.
Now jumping over to the UK, where the Ring of Honor roster was, especially the LIJ guys. They were all over in the UK, especially in Manchester for Rev Pro Wrestling, RPW, for their Ungovernable 2019 show. So Ungovernable, Los Ingobernables, see how you will. So really major results came out of this, including the brand new Rev Pro Undisputed British Tag Team champions, Josh Bodum and Shah Samuels. They defeated the former champions, Aussie Open, Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis. They, in a four-way tag match that included Bushi and Evil tagging, representing LIJ, and Team White Wolf, A-Kid, and Carlos Romo. So Josh Bodum and Shah Samuels taking their straps from Aussie Open. Another baffling booking for me. Aussie Open were booked for nearly a year, chasing those titles, especially from Zack Sabre Jr. and Minoru Suzuki. Fletcher and Davis finally got those titles, and then they drop them to Bodum and Shah, which is fine. Bodum and Shah are both fantastic talents, and there'll be a very proud Scottish man looking over Shah Samuels this week. So, no complaints on who won the match. I just sucks that Aussie Open have already dropped their titles with one or two defenses. So, some other interesting matches. The Hikuleo, representing Bullet Club, was actually on this tour as well. He took a defeat from Dan McGee. Some of the New Japan LA Dojo guys, so Clark Connors, Carl Fredericks, they were sent over, actually, and Brendan White, they were sent over in a six-man match. They lost to Gabriel Kidd, Kenneth Harpenny, and Sean Jackson. And from all accounts, it was amazing. And from what I've heard, some things, like Gabriel Kidd has actually been given a offer to go train at the New Japan LA Dojo with Shibata. So that'll be very interesting to see how that goes. Shingo Takagi was on his tour. He defeated Michael Oku. Tetsuya Naito defeated MK McKinnon. And in the main event of this card, Zack Sabre Jr. took on Sonata for the British Heavyweight title, defending his British Heavyweight title. Zack Sabre Jr. picked up the victory here and retained his championship. I think he's going to go down as the best Rev Pro champion of all time, probably the best British champion of all time. Just that title just belongs around the waist of Zack Sabre Jr. I hope he keeps it. Probably doing some cool things at the moment. The roster kind of feels like it's taken it over the last couple of years since NXT UK's come on board and Progress and ICW kind of aligned with the NXT universe there. So unfortunately, the roster kind of feels like it's depleted. But since their relationship with New Japan, it's been kind of strong. And cards like this are just fantastic. You can jump on to RPW on demand. I think this card should be up by now. If not, give it another couple of days. So that is a new Rev Pro Undisputed British Tag Team Champion and other results from that show. Another title change happened in a while. It's a very interesting one. So there's a new CMLL World Lightweight Champion. So Dragon Lee had this title for nearly well over 1,000 days. He vacated it as he's moved up a division in CMLL. And the championship was defended. The vacant title was put on the line in a one-on-one between Kawato-san, or Hirai Kawato, and Ordaz. This was taken on Monday for us here. And Kawato-san actually picked up the victory here. This is his first ever championship. He's only 22 years old. He's on an excursion from New Japan to CMLL, just like a whole host of names before him. It's fantastic to see Kawato pick up the title. Unfortunately, his run in Mexico hasn't been fantastic. There has been a lot of criticism about how he is in ring. Like, he's not as smooth as those in the past. Like the Japanese guys come over to Mexico, he's not as smooth as them at the moment. I guess remember he's only 22 years old, which is cool, which is crazy. So young, and this is his first championship of his career. I say, picking up that championship on your excursion is a successful excursion. So, look, he's not the best. He's not the best in the ring, but he's people in CMLL obviously think highly of him. I'm sure when he comes to New Japan, things like this are going to be all the better for him. Also, in keeping up with CMLL, Jushin Thunder Liger, is in his retirement tour of 2019, going into Wrestle Kingdom. He's actually going to be going over to CMLL 19th of June, and it'll be his last appearance for CMLL. So, Jushin Thunder Liger has had a long history with CMLL, dating back to the mid-90s, when his career first started, being a masked wrestler, even from Japan, the Lucha Libre style. That cross Lucha Libre Japanese style, guys like Liger, Ultimate Dragon, those sort of guys, Bushi, there's plenty out there. He's just another one he's a legend, and just one of those guys that really, he did a lot for CMLL, really. Like, he's actually been one of the guys that really bridged that relationship between New Japan and CMLL. So, yeah, that'll be on the 19th of June. I haven't heard about who his opponents are going to be or what it'll be, but it will be on the Super Friday show, I imagine. So I think it's I think maybe on the 21st or the 20th of July. Can't get my dates right there. No, 19th. It'll be the 19th of July, the 20th for us here in Australia. So definitely keep an eye on that. And yeah, that's the happenings in LL at the moment. So speaking of what's coming up, what's coming up in New Japan. Of course, it's G1 season. G1 kicks off this weekend. A block gets underway. Then the rest of the matches happen next week. So we only have to talk about one, the first round, one night. This one is actually coming from the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. So New Japan took their opening G1 night back to America like they did last year. This time it's going to be in Dallas. I'm not too sure where they're at with tickets and that sort of stuff. I think it's still a bit of I don't know if it's much of a sellout yet, but this is the card going into Saturday night. There is an undercard which involves most of Block B. There is one notable omission, being Mr. John Moxley. I'm not too sure what the official ruling is, but I think Moxley is unable to compete for New Japan on American soil whilst he also has a contract. So this is, we're going to talk this a lot through the G1, both Greg and I. There's what we call the C block. So C block is basically everyone else that's available in Japan. Most of the guys in the C block will take the pins. So the guys in G1 don't lose matches on the undercard such. Opening match will be Sho and Yo versus Tanga and Tama, which is very interesting. The best junior heavyweight tag team in Japan versus probably the best heavyweight tag team. That's very interesting as a undercard matchup. Second match in, Shota Umino will be tagged with Tomohiro Ishii, taking on Ren Narita and Jeff Cobb. So battle of the big boy there, which will be brilliant. Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto tag up to take on Chase Owens and Jay White, which will be very interesting as well. And I should mention that Shota, Ren Narita, Yoshihashi, and Chase Owens are part of C block. Ishii, Cobb, Goto, and Jay White are part of block B. Juice Thunder Liger, Juice Robinson, and Toru Yano will be taking on Bushi, Shingo Takagi, and Tetsuya Naito. Liger and Bushi both are C block there, the C block undercard. Juice, Yano, Shingo, and Tetsuya Naito also part of G1. And then we get into the A block tournament matches. So there are five matches, 20 people up, two different groups, but we'll be starting with Will Ospreay taking on Lance Archer. We've got Evil, the King of Darkness Evil, taking on Bad Fale. Sonata taking on Zack Sabre Jr. in a rematch from this past weekend for the Red Pro title. So interesting first round there. We got Kota Ibushi taking on Kenta, which is going to be huge. Kazuchika Okada taking on Hiroshi Tanahashi. For me, I feel I think Will Ospreay gets the win here. I know Lance Archer is in Dallas, Texas, in his hometown, but I think Ospreay gets victory here. Evil should take the win over Fale. Now that it's not a title match, I could see Sonata beating Zack Sabre Jr. in this one, so I'm going to go with Sonata. Kota Ibushi and Kenta, I don't know. It has to be Kenta. This is his debut match. I don't think he loses in his debut match like this. So Kenta versus Kota Ibushi. This match is insane because Hideo Itami, a.k.a. Kenta, who is what he used to be known as. Now he's back to being Kenta. When he was in WWE, he was known as Hideo Itami. Both him and Kota Ibushi were around for that Cruiserweight Classic. I don't think Hideo Itami was actually in the tournament, but it's funny that this match could have happened, in WWE, but New Japan have taken the spoils here. I'm going to go with Kenta. I just think Kenta has a little bit too much more experience over Kota. I think Kenta does win this. And Okada Tanahashi. I'm going to go with Okada. I feel it's going to be the first match of the year candidate coming out of the G1. I imagine it's going to be fantastic, the G1. So the G1 will continue next week. I'm very excited. And look, I want to try on behalf of B+, try to organise some sort of pick'em type comp, like a tipping competition for the G1. I know New Japan have their own going, so it's on njpw1972.com. On their main page, they do have a link to a tipping comp. I think it's kind of via Twitter. I'm going to enter that one as well, but I'm hoping to set up one for B+. I'll know if that comes out. What else this weekend? The only other thing I wanted to talk about was back in the UK, RevPro had their live at the cockpit number 43. Just a standard live at the cockpit show. Yes, it features a main event match of Davis Starr versus Park, which is going to be a very interesting match. One of the best pro wrestlers versus one of the best mouthpieces in the business right now. But the most important thing is this is actually featuring Shazza McKenzie, our very own Shazza McKenzie from PWA Shimmer fame. She will be debuting for RevPro this weekend. We just got my card. I had it in front of me. She's Celestia Sparks. I'm not too sure of that name. That's taken me apart. I actually don't know who that person is. But yeah, so Shazza makes her debut for RevPro there. I know she's doing a quick little UK tour for a couple of weeks. She's been quite the jet setter, Miss Shazza McKenzie. So good luck to Shazza over in RevPro. We've had a whole host of Aussie talent wrestling for RevPro over the last couple of months. So fantastic to see more of that happening. And also on that card, El Phantasmo and Hikuleo representing Bullet Club and taking on Team White Wolf and Kid Carlos Ramos. So sounds like an interesting cockpit 43 will go up on RevPro and demand a few weeks later. Now that's pretty much it for me today. If you want to discuss anything else, New Japan, RevPro, CMLL, Ring of Honor, you can find me at B_BigBoy on Twitter, Instagram, and all those good places. And we're collectively at the B+ Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, at the B+ Wrestle on Twitter, because Wrestle is fit. Give us a like, share, subscribe, give us a 5-star review if you like what we do. Thank you so much for listening.